What's up, you guys? It's your boy B Mage, the modern day hope dealer, not dope dealer. We back again for another phenomenal Training for Triumph leadership podcast. You guys, we've been rocking and rolling with these podcasts. They've been really, really inspirational, educational, and preparational, which is the modern day IEP versus the old school IEP that you might have had when you were in school or some students currently have. We changed the dynamic of what an IEP is, and that's inspiration, education, and preparation, so we can provide students and adults with new experiences to be able to enhance their lives. So we're here today with a very, 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 very special guest. I met this lady, this phenomenal, impactful lady, a few years ago, and we were able to be connected and stay connected and bless a variety of different events together. And she is a phenomenal, impactful lady who is really impacting adult lives, student lives, and I mean, she's doing her thing. I guess all we can ask for is people to lead the way, and she's a leader who's leading the way for so many. She is also a former president of a phenomenal, historic HBCU. We'll go through a little bit of her background. She'll be able to tell you guys and elaborate to you all about her background and her experiences. I'm sure it's super relatable to all of you all as well. Listen, tap in, get your pad, your pen, your pencil, because we're gonna have some powerful, powerful gems drop on everybody today here, you guys. So with no further ado, this is Dr. Maria Lumpkin, the phenomenal woman, the AKA, the link, the president, the everything, super impactful. So Dr. Maria, I thank you for your time this morning. And I love to get started right into it. I love to hop into it because people really take time out of their day to be able to hear this message and just to be able to catch a positive vibe of hope, of inspiration, education, and preparation towards enhancing their lives. So with no further ado, can you just give a little bit of education, a little bit of background about who you are, where you're from, and a little bit about your educational background?
Well, first of all, Major Prep Man, thank you for having me on today. You too are such an inspiration to so many people, and your work really edifies in so many ways and is transforming lives. So I'm so very happy to be here. Look, I'm just a girl from the great state of South Carolina. I grew up in a small town outside of the capital city of Columbia called Irmo. Irmo stands for I Raise More Okra, and we have an annual okra strut there every year. Grew up in a dual heritage household. My father is Puerto Rican, my mother's African American. So I grew up with a kaleidoscope of colors, foods, interest, and experiences that really informed who I am today. And first and foremost, I am not only a woman of color, an educator, but I'm also a social activist. I care very deeply about voting rights, which is a hot topic today. And one of the most powerful things that you can do as a citizen of the world. I care very much so about issues related to inclusive excellence. I care very much about our nation's historically Black colleges and universities, of which I'm a graduate of two, St. Augustine's University and Clark Atlanta University. I happen to have had the great honor of serving as the first woman and youngest interim president of St. Augustine's University during this period of COVID. And I know that that is part of the topic today, where we really had to do things extremely differently. We had to take our traditions and transform them. You've heard the word pivot, transform, change, doing things differently. We had to do things in more nuanced ways in order to stay alive. So I'm proud of the work that I was able to do there. And I'm proud of what happened during what I describe as the biggest experiment in the history of the university, COVID-19. So that is who I am, and that is what I'm about. And I'm just so delighted again to be able to be here to talk about my lived experiences.
Wow, I love that. And say that one more time. You were the first and the youngest?
I was the first woman alumna and the youngest president of St. Augustine's University.
Wow.
And our university was founded in 1867. As a matter of fact, today we are celebrating our Founders Day.
Wow.
In Raleigh, North Carolina, one of our biggest and most renowned alumni is Dr. Anna Julia Cooper. She's the first woman, or the only woman rather, of any color that is in the United States passport. If you open, that is quoted in the United States passport. If you open your passport, she's quoted there. And one of the things that I carry with me always as a woman is when and where I enter, my entire race enters with me. So I carry her spirit with me, because it is so true that we are door openers for others in many ways in our work and in the things that we are able to impact in our purposeful lives.
Wow. That's powerful. I didn't realize that. That's super, super powerful. And congratulations on that. I want to give you your flowers on that while you can still smell them as well, because like that's a groundbreaking opportunity. And I think people don't understand how important that is and the type of doors you open for others and be able to inspire others by that accomplishment yourself. That's very, very powerful. Very, very powerful. I love to hear that. I love achievements like that. It gets me excited there. So the first I want to just tap into your perspective on student leadership today. What is your perspective on the current state of mind for student leadership, and what are a few opportunities or what are a few different ways on how it can really still enhance to new levels?
Our world doesn't change without young people leading. If you look at the civil rights movement, it was young people, John Lewis, SNCC, countless people that were young people at Fisk University, North Carolina Central University, a lot of our institutions, particularly in the South, Albany State University, Morehouse College, Spelman College, Clark Atlanta University, which has a boulevard in the Atlanta University Center called Student Movement Boulevard. Our nation cannot change, our world cannot change without the ideation, the service, and the leadership of young people who are willing to risk it all for something that they truly believe in.
Wow.
Our state, the state that I live in, the great state of Georgia, would not have been able to elect the Honorable Senator Raphael Warnock, without young people who changed this state from a conservative red state to a blue state. And I believe that when it comes to any major endeavors, it will take young people with heart, mind, being highly collaborative with each other in order to change the dynamics and redeem social conditions in this world. Literally, no great movement has happened unless young people have started it. Martin Luther King himself was a young person. Fannie Lou Hamer was a young person. Stacey Abrams is a young person, and she saved our democracy. So young people have such an important role to play in fortifying a better world and creating a greater humanity.
When you just said that it's the key to collaboration, that's the key. That's 100%. I think the key is, and I think that the collaboration piece is so important. And right now, I feel like we're at a time where it's easy to separate versus collaborate. But by you saying that I can't wait for people to hear that message and to understand the importance of collaboration. I often say collaboration is the key to elevation. So the more and more we can collaborate, we can all continue to evolve and grow.
Absolutely. And we can't do anything without the spirit of team, the spirit of working in connectivity with each other. There's a South African phrase called Ubuntu, and Ubuntu means, we're all interconnected, together. And what impacts one person impacts another person. Um, we deal with all kinds of things in our ever-changing world. We've certainly seen the impact of COVID on our world in terms of the health dynamics. We've seen how it has impacted particularly communities of color as it relates to the digital apartheid that exists in our communities, and not being able to get a good education if you don't have even something very basic as a computer. In one of the organizations that I know you're familiar with, the Links Incorporated, we are doing a program to help um, young people with financial literacy. And one of the applicants to the program, we sent her the application via email, for example, and she responded and she said, I can't do the application on my phone. And we didn't even think about that, as we were planning. Our intentionality was good, but this young lady who could benefit greatly from our program doesn't have a computer. So we had to change the whole application to something that she could do on her phone and submit to us. But those are the nuances and the things that we have to think about, when we're serving others, when we're trying to change circumstances for other people to create a greater humanity and a better world for others. Those are the kinds of things that young people and young ideas and creativeness and collaboration inherently breeds. When you work together, you can get more done. When you help other people and you help other people with the intentionality of moving the needle forward in the lives of others, you can get so much done.
So we talk about starting young to create change, moving the needle. Can you talk a little bit about the power of consistency? That, okay, say is that group of kids who hear this and they decide to create change in a business or on a certain movement or a certain topic. Can you talk a little bit about the power of consistency and how you have to stay the course in order to see something through to create change? Because I feel like we're in a world of instant gratification. Mm-hmm. And that consistency piece over time is what I'm not sure everyone is still understanding. And as you talked about John Lewis and Stacey Abrams and Dr. King, is their movements and their work still lives on today.
Yeah, they planted, John Lewis and many, many others, mm-hmm. Planted seeds and planted trees that we'll never be able to see. We'll never be able, they were never able to see, rather, grow. But, one thing about your dreams is that some people get tired and waiting on their dreams to come true. And when you talk about consistency, you have to, while you're waiting, you have to rest in your wait. You have to train in your wait. You have to live in your wait. You have to pray in your wait. You have to love in your wait. You have to praise God in your wait. And you have to accept that at some point, things are going to change if you keep on pushing the needle. One of the things that I always say about taking chances on yourself, because I just took a huge risk. Like, there's something out there that I wanted, and I went to the extent of, I wrote a list of everybody I knew that could help me get to what I wanted. Like a whole list. Like, I want to know who knows this person that has the ability to say yes to me. I bet on myself. You cannot win if you don't play and you don't bet on yourself. And in your waiting, yes, it is sometimes depressing, it's lonely, it's hard. But again, as you mentioned, Brian, you have to be consistent. You have to get up every morning. I'm sitting here on this podcast with you. I have my pearls on, my dress, because I'm waiting on the call I need. I'm going to be ready. My hair is fried, dyed, and laid to the side. When someone calls me, I'm going to be ready. This is how I wake up in the morning. I get up as if I'm getting ready to go to a Fortune 500 company every day in my waiting until my next assignment comes. And that's what you have to do when you want something that much. When you know that you are here for a specific purpose, you cannot get weary in well-doing. You have to get up. You have to show up. You have to be ready. You have to show yourself approved through your study and your readiness to be able to perform the task that is just for you and only you can do it. I tell people all the time, that desire to be entrepreneurs. I have such a heart for people that will take nothing and make it something. I have such a heart for people who are so in love and empowered by their own vision. And as Audre Lorde said, when I dare to be powerful in the service of my vision, it matters less and less whether I am afraid or not. They will walk away from six-figure jobs. They will walk away from good health insurance, a 401k, a pension plan, because they know that there's something greater. And the fact of the matter is that I don't know any people that are wealthy in life that get a W-2.
Whoa, okay. I
don't know anybody that's wealthy that gets a W-2. Because when you bet on yourself, when you believe in yourself, people can't tell you how much you're worth because you know how much value you bring. They can't tell you you're worth 85. They can't tell you you're worth $110,000 and a bonus at the end of the year if you help them produce such and such. You tell you how much you're worth. You tell you how valuable you are. And that goes for anything, even if you are pursuing a job, you have to carry with you an entrepreneurial spirit about you. And you have to know when to walk away from some places when you're not valued anymore. When your performance evaluation is dictating how much you're able to elevate in a company. And if women of color, especially, we get typecast. And as my father said to one of my high school teachers in a parent-teacher conference, she said, Maria is very bright, but she talks too much. And my father replied, and that's probably why she's going to be something very important one day, because she has a voice and she has something to say.
Wow. I love that, because nowadays I meet so many youth, boys and girls, who are scared to speak up.
Oh yeah.
And scared to present their thoughts and what they feel and a question. So I'm glad you just said that.
Oh yeah.
That voice, your thoughts, being able to speak up for yourself is so key.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And I would say to those who have not found their voices yet, to start getting your acceptance speech ready. Keep practicing in the mirror.
Start now.
Keep talking to yourself. Help your dreams to manifest themselves by doing the self-talk that is necessary. You have to be able to encourage yourself and have a higher level of thinking in the things that you do and the things that you say concerning your own life. There's a quote that I love that I got from someone's Instagram page, and it said, nah, Nah, comma, bigger, period, from God. Listen, I can't wait to be back on your podcast so that when my dreams are manifested to the extent that I have worked and I have prayed and I have done my due diligence to be the recipient of what I'm getting ready to receive. I can't wait to come back on the podcast as another person. So I'm my dreams are being manifested. I said I wanted to be a college president.
Check.
I had no idea that I would be leading an institution during COVID of all times. And let me go back into a little bit of my autobiography. I told you I grew up in Irmo, South Carolina. I had been rejected from every single college that I wanted to go to because I wasn't a good test taker. But see, testing didn't account for my creativity, motivation, or drive. And testing did not keep me from my dreams. So here I am, the rejected, now being coronated as the chief executive officer of a whole university. That's why you have to continue to dream. You have to continue to speak life into yourself. You have to continue to believe, even when you only have a mustard seed of faith. You have to be willing to step out on that limb of faith, because often that's where the best fruit lies. You have to be willing.
Wait, go back and say that one again.
You have to be willing to step out on the limb of faith, because often that is where the best fruit lies.
Wow.
You have to be willing to do that in order to grow. People thought I was crazy when I left a secure job in a university system to go to Shippensburg, Pennsylvania. You know what Shippensburg is. That's where we met.
Yeah.
I couldn't even get my hair done in Shippensburg. But I went to Shippensburg University because I knew that if I take this chance on me and I go someplace where I'm uncomfortable, because see, in biblical terms, Shippensburg was like being in an exiled place. It was a place that wasn't comfortable or familiar, because I'm from Atlanta. You know, there's Atlanta and the rest of Georgia. I'm from a metropolitan city. I went to Shippensburg University, Shippensburg, Pennsylvania, central Pennsylvania, in a place that was completely different from any place I'd ever been to before. And I was challenged in enumerated ways, but simultaneously I grew in so many ways.
Growth in the uncomfort zone.
Woo! Come on now.
Growth in the comfort zone.
Yes. But you got to do it, because had I not stepped out, and I left my family, I left my husband, I left my home. It would take me 2 hours to get a reasonable flight to Atlanta. I would have to drive in the midnight all the way to Baltimore just to get on a flight that was about 2 hours to Atlanta just to get home. My greatest comfort was being able to get on the train and go about 2.5, 3 hours to New York occasionally when I had that rare moment or that rare weekend where I had some time. Do you know how much I had to sacrifice?
Talk to them about it. Woo.
But see, in life, you have to sometimes take the present pain for the future joy.
I hope y'all got your pens bad. Oh my God. Yes.
And see, in those moments when everybody thinks that you're crazy because you're doing all of this crazy stuff, and why you moving and why you doing this, because there's a voice that calls you and summons you to do what others just aren't able to do and aren't willing to do. But see, if I had not gone to Shippensburg, I wouldn't have had the experience to work in the office of the president at my alma mater. And if I hadn't had the opportunity to work in the office of the president at Shippensburg, there would be no preparation for me being able to be, come on.
There's so much power in what you're just saying about the belief in yourself. And then the experiences all add up. And what you just said was preparation. They're preparing you. Every experience in your comfort zone has prepared you for
everything.
Every experience.
It's a building block.
I got chills. This is my type of conversation. This got chills. But that's
right.
exactly.
It's a building block. And guess what? When the house implodes, rebuild it.
That's it. That's it.
See, right now, I'm in that weight that people are talking about. I'm in that weight where I'm getting rejection letters, where I'm sitting here and I'm in that weight right now.
Mm-hmm.
When the house implodes, rebuild it, reinvent yourself, find something else creative that you can do. Get out there and be a hustler. My daddy told me, I'm trying to have women that if you put out on the street butt naked, in 15 minutes, you'll be up and running. Because you got to have the mind to work. You got to have the mind and the creativity to be out there and hustle up things that don't exist. Everybody has to have a little entrepreneurial spirit in them that calls them to something greater. That's why they call Black women magicians.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, we just talked about first collaboration, elevation, consistency, uncomfort, preparation, manifestation. Whew. Powerful experiences, rejection, everything that people each and every day are going through and growing through is that I want people to understand that all of those things add up. And like you said, they're all growing blocks. They're all stepping stones in order to continue to evolve and grow, to manifest new levels, to get to new goals, to achieve new achievements. Powerful. And one of the most important, and what even it all bottles up to right now is as we're talking, it's resilience. It's persistence.
Oh, yes. Listen, the world lost a great person, Andre Leon Talley. He was the first, just really an unsung person from Durham, North Carolina. He went to a Hillside High School in Durham, North Carolina, and went to North Carolina Central University, and then was given a scholarship for graduate studies at Brown University. And I have something to say about his life and what we can all learn from him, because this was a man from nothing, was raised by his grandmother, who was a domestic worker in the dormitories at Duke University. And he was able to imagine and create a life for himself. Now, I'm talking about a big, robust, Rubenesque man sitting on the front row of Fashion Week, who again dared to be powerful in the service of his vision. That it mattered less and less whether or not he was afraid.
Hey, I can't let that one fly.
He I
Wait,
said, Audre
whoa,
Lorde,
wait,
when
come
I dare
on.
to be powerful in the service of my vision, it matters less and less whether or not I'm afraid. So Andre Leon Talley from Durham, North Carolina, learned to speak fluent French. I don't even know if you can get a French bread in Durham back in the day when he was there. He learned to interpret fashion as an art by going to church and seeing how people of color created art with their fashion. Because, you know, going to church, you see everything going to church in the Black community. And when they would put on their Sunday's best, he would leave church and go to the magazine stand and look at all of the fashions in the magazine stand and study them. And he knew all of the designers. And he was the author of his own opportunities. He was the architect of his dreams. He was the engineer of his own hope from Durham, North Carolina.
Wow.
Resilience, dedication, commitment. And if you haven't caught his autobiography, it's called The Gospel According to Andre. That should inspire you.
Wow.
Rest in power.
Rest in power.
Andre Leon Talley, Ashe.
I'm gonna have to get that book. I'm gonna have to get that book.
It's on Netflix. It's on YouTube.
It's a documentary.
It's a documentary, yes.
Got you. Got you.
I meant documentary, not autobiography.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So to switch it up a little bit, what is, for one, your favorite song and why?
Oh, my favorite song?
Favorite song or favorite lyric and why?
Oh. Lift every voice and sing. Till earth and heaven ring, ring with the harmony of liberty. Because our passage and my passage as a person of color is so different.
Yeah.
The unique institution of slavery, and to see how far we have come as a people. Every time I hear that song and get to the third stanza of Lift Every Voice and Sing, you know, it really just brings me to such a moment of gratitude for the journey that continues. Now, juxtaposed to that, I love Biggie too.
Yeah.
I used to read Word Up magazine. Listen, I can relate to that too. So, you know, to contemporize it, it would have to be, I love, Nas was my favorite lyricist, but I think that Biggie was such a wordsmith. Yeah. And literally, when you talk about the manifestation of dreams,
he was it.
You know, he's the epitome of that.
Yeah.
He is the epitome of that. And so I reverence him. Rest in power.
Rest in power. Wow. And I have to ask, this is how we end with, this is the question I have to end with everybody who comes on, is I believe that the common denominator in the world, no matter what demographic, age, race, is adversity. No matter, if I tell people all the time, go ask somebody what adversity they faced, I guarantee you I'll probably have a friend for life. Because you'll be able to open up and talk about both adversities and how you dealt with them, different struggles. And not saying that some people's adversities are greater than others, the whole nine, but I feel as though piece of adversity is so powerful. And I love to ask people, and I'm going to ask you also, is what is the biggest adversity you faced and how did you grow through it?
The biggest adversity that I've faced is probably rejection, and people have rejected me at their own peril because I am resilient beyond belief. And every time I have been rejected, I have found some way to take myself, with God's help, of course, out of the valley to the mountaintop.
Drop the mic. Hold on. Don't say nothing else. Don't say nothing else.
Yeah. And I say to that valley, I cannot stay here. You cannot keep me captive here. So I just look to the hills from which cometh my help and my strength, and I continue on with my resilient spirit and my belief in myself that I can do all things and I can be all things. And I know that I'm here for a specific purpose and a specific reason. Christ who strengthens me.
Wow. Listen, y'all make sure that y'all save this to your phones, to whatever podcast platform you're gonna be listening to YouTube video clip, because the gems that were just dropped, like I can't wait to go back and watch this myself because this was so powerful. And again, a message that, as I knew even before, was gonna be super relatable. We really didn't even get to the questions that we talked about. They just like organically we spoke upon, which is what I love and which is what I really knew it was going to end up happening because of the energy we already had when we first met. And just the experience and the knowledge that we both have from you reading my book and having that giving me that feedback on it and just everything.
Get his book. Get his book, people. That's right.
Listen, you were the very first, at that time you were the assistant president or
I was the special assistant to the president at Shippensburg.
The special assistant to the president. So also you guys, if you go on to brianmajors.com, this is actually the person you'll see on the testimonial page of the book. And you were the first educator to read the book as fast as you read it and to provide that type of feedback. And that I also want to say to you personally is that feedback from you helped inspire and motivate me to go full force with this book. Like somebody of your stature, it really said, man. And it was when I gave you the book and you said you were going to give me feedback, I'm like, whoa, yo, this is a powerful one. Nobody of this caliber read the book yet. Like I knew I gave the book my blade, I gave it my every emotion. So I knew it was good. But for someone of your caliber, I'm like, man, I can't wait to hear this feedback. I'm gonna make whatever adjustments anyway. But when you gave me that feedback, that really inspired me to continue to move forward with this mission of impacting people's minds, their lives, their perspectives, their experiences, and share my experiences more and more with others to be able to help them create their own success blueprint. And that feedback, I mean, it lit a fire behind my back. It lit me up really crazy. So for the book to be at 2,904 books left, I believe, to 10,000 units sold and going on 3.5 years, like I want to say you have a really powerful piece in that because again, you were the highest caliber person who read the book at that time and gave me that feedback. So I don't take that feedback lightly at all because that was what happened and that was your honest, genuine feedback of this Training for Triumph book that has now again impacted hundreds, thousands of lives at this point. So I appreciate you 100%.
Well, may your blessings quadruple. I hope that people will bring you to their campuses, their schools, their communities, so you can talk about your work and the wonderful things that your book has to offer. There's just so many subjects and themes to draw upon in there. It's a great tool.
Wow. Wow. I got chills. I can't wait to rewatch this myself on our conversation and be able to get it out back to this world for them to see nonstop as often as they please, for the younger ones, the adults, the other educators who are dealing with some of the mindsets and experience that you have had, for you to be able to be an inspiration to them as well. So again, you guys, this was a powerful one. We're going to keep bringing more and more heat to you guys. Whoever's next, just know you better bring it, because we're going to keep, listen, you got to bring it. Whoever's next, you got to bring it. But again, thank you so much, Dr. Lumpkin, for your time, for your energy, for your experiences, and sharing your perspective on life, leadership, manifestation, resilience, strength, hope, most importantly, inspiration, education, preparation towards obtaining your goals and becoming the highest and truest form of yourselves. You guys, it's another one down. We're gonna keep bringing the fire. Make sure you guys get your book if you don't have it. The Training for Triumph Leadership Tour is also active, and I'll be able to also share Dr. Lumpkin's maybe LinkedIn or Instagram as well, to be able to continue to follow her journey and watch her do exactly what she said and manifest her goals, manifest her dreams. And don't forget, she said, wait in that moment. Wait in your work, pray in your work, wait in your work. Oof. It's power. But you guys, you know what it is. It's your boy B Major, modern day hope dealer, not dope dealer, for another Training for Triumph Leadership podcast. We appreciate you taking the time out. Go share it with 5 friends. Don't be selfish. Go share this work with 5 friends. You already know the vibes. You know what it is. Stay focused, remain humble, and keep working. Keep working. Keep working.